The question of how the Egyptians transported stones weighing tons to the pyramid transport the colossal stones that formed the magnificent pyramids. Monoliths that defied imagination and weighed several tons each. These stones, each one averaging 1.5 tons or more, could not be simply pushed, nor could they be lifted by human hands alone. The challenge wasn't just their immense weight. Even if every man summoned his strength, there was simply no room for enough hands to grasp the stone. A crowd of 20 men would be needed, each lifting a staggering 75 kilograms just to inch one of these stones forward. But such a feat was not one of brute force alone. Human ingenuity had to step in where raw strength fell short. Without the aid of clever tools and techniques, methods passed down through generations, perhaps lost to time, these stones would remain motionless, defying all efforts to budge them, as if anchored to the earth by invisible forces. There are speculations that wooden sledges were used to transport the stones, which the workers pulled across the ground. It is also assumed that the stones were placed on several logs and pushed and pulled by the laborers. The logs were repeatedly moved from the back to the front as they were pushed under the stone. On closer inspection, both methods proved to be feasible for demonstration purposes, but unusable on an industrial scale. Why? Due to the strong friction on the ground, a sledge had to be pulled large ropes. The force of one person is 100 newtons, 50 kilograms. At the ledge itself, more than 40 men would certainly be needed to pull it uphill. In addition, the workers needed space between the distance from the sledge to pull effectively. This method was labor-intensive, error-prone. So, addition. Could manage 3 million years? That's more than 400 blocks per day, requiring at least 100 teams, working tirelessly for 12 hours and making sound resistant for handling the round timbers complex and smooth. Dog control couldn't produce uniform as we do today. Without modern tools like would get stuck. It's women's trouble. Now what if the Egyptians these traditional simpler solution? They may have themselves. By adding wooden planks to the flat sides of the stones and wrapping them with ropes, the Egyptians could create a... This allowed the stones hole, eliminate size whenever the excessive wear and tear still pose. So, they refined this method in piece paired stable wooden molds, laying segment form around to prevent tear. With this fewer work stone or maneuver these stones to roll around over slopes with minimal effort. For example, Chingrittle and simple pyramid would to validate this theory to find evidence like a roll behind. Such a clue already exists. It's a question worth exploring. Building the pyramids with 3 million stones, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons, remains an enormous task. But this theory offers a more credible explanation than others. Thank you so much for your interest. I truly appreciate it. I look forward to welcoming you back to my channel in the future. Take care and see you next time.
Imagine a leader whose shadow stretches across millennia, a figure so imposing that his deeds shaped not only the destiny of his people but the very course of history. This is Ramses II, more commonly known as Ramses the Great, a pharaoh of ancient Egypt renowned for his power and reverence. Ruling for an astounding 66 years, Ramses was not just a ruler, he was a feared warrior, an unmatched strategist, a monumental builder, and above all, a living symbol of divine power on earth. But who was this man who transformed Egypt into a global powerhouse? To understand Ramses' legacy, we need to look beyond the colossal temples he erected and the immense statues depicting his majesty. Ramses was a ruler who deeply understood the power of image and narrative. He wielded both the sword and the mason's hammer to ensure that his name would be remembered forever. Ramses II lived in an era of challenges and opportunities. Egypt, rich in culture and power, faced external threats and internal instability. However, under his leadership, the kingdom thrived, with the pharaoh cementing his rule not only through battlefield victories but also through skilled diplomacy. Ramses II was born to be a pharaoh. From an early age, he was destined to wear the crown of one of the most powerful and ancient realms in human history. His ascent to the throne was no accident. He came from a strong and established royal lineage. At the age of 14, Ramses was appointed co-regent by his father, Seti I. This strategic move ensured a smooth transition when Seti passed away. During this period, Ramses accompanied his father on military campaigns, learning the art of war and administration. When Seti I died, Ramses ascended to the throne of a prosperous Egypt. However, external threats, particularly from the Hittites and other northeastern neighbors, demanded a firm and visionary leader. Internally, the country was still recovering from tumultuous dynastic changes. During Ramses' rise, Egypt was a deeply hierarchical society where the pharaoh was not just a king but also seen as a living god. He was responsible for maintaining cosmic order, known as Ma'at, the justice and balance of the universe. In one of the most dramatic episodes of ancient military history, Ramses II faced one of the greatest challenges of his reign, the Battle of Kadesh. Fought in 1274 BC, this battle was a colossal military confrontation that shaped the fate of Egypt and Anatolia. Although the Battle of Kadesh did not result in a decisive victory for either side, it was pivotal for the politics of the time. In 1259 BC, Ramses and the Hittite king Mortali II agreed to negotiate a treaty, one of the earliest formally documented peace agreements in history. Ramses II's greatness is equally built upon a legacy of architecture and engineering. Among Egypt's most iconic wonders, the Temple of Abu Simbel stands as one of Ramses' greatest legacies, reflecting his magnificence and devotion to the gods. Located on the banks of the Nile near the border with Sudan, Abu Simbel is an impressive example of engineering and a powerful symbol of Ramses' grandeur. The complex consists of two temples carved directly into the rock, designed to reflect the magnificence of the pharaoh. The smaller temple at Abu Simbel, dedicated to Ramses' wife Nefertari and the goddesses Hathor and Isis, is equally impressive. The construction was strategically positioned so that twice a year, the rays of the sun would illuminate the statues of the gods inside the temple. Ramses II's architectural projects not merely in power, but tools designed to perpetuate his image. His monuments and inscriptions served to glorify his life and achievements, ensuring his influence would endure for millennia. Ramses II's relationship with his wife Nefertari is often described as mutual love and admiration. The temple to her, highlighting her importance and position in the Egyptian pantheon. Second had several other wives throughout were not merely also political, ensuring the continuity of the royal lineage. His son Marenta eventually succeeded him as pharaoh. Ramses II is remembered not only for his military and architectural achievements but also for his exceptional skill in managing a vast empire. Effective administration began with strategic decentralization, delegating authority to provincial governors and local administrators. Diplomacy with the Hittites was not just about securing peace, but also about establishing a strategic alliance. The treaty signed between the two empires included clauses for economic and military cooperation, strengthening bilateral relations and securing a period of stability. During Ramses' reign, there was a notable revival of religiosity in Egypt. The pharaoh promoted large-scale rituals and ceremonies, often personally participating in religious practices. He also ordered the construction of impressive monuments dedicated to important deities. Ramses II's decision to build a new capital, Pyramids, was strategic, aiming to centralize power and facilitate control over a vast and diverse territory. The city was designed to be a monumental center of worship and adoration, reflecting the power and grandeur of the pharaoh. In the final years of his reign, Ramses II faced a series of challenges. As he aged, issues related to his health and well-being became increasingly pressing. Conscious of the inevitability of his death, Ramses took careful measures to prepare for his succession and secure the continuity of his reign. The construction of Ramses II's tomb in the Valley of the Kings was a monumental project, reflecting the importance of ensuring an eternal rest worthy of a pharaoh. The tomb, with its impressive decorations and inscriptions, was designed to ensure that Ramses would be celebrated and remembered in the afterlife. Despite the challenges and limitations imposed by age, Ramses II maintained firm control over the empire until his final days. His reign is one of the most grandiose and significant of ancient Egypt, reflecting the importance and power of the pharaoh. His legacy endures as a symbol of how power can be expressed and perpetuated through tangible achievements and the construction of a lasting image.
In the depths of Saqqara Lima, a chamber housing massive granite boxes, each weighing up to tons. Ancient sport. What were these? Egyptologist's strange tomb. What he found was a labyrinth lined with enormous granite sarcophagi. No one had touched these artifacts for 3,000 years, until Mariette decided to uncover their secrets. The sarcophagi are often thought to be burial sites for sacred Apis bulls, yet not a single Apis bull has been found within these immense coffins. Could there be another, more profound reason for their existence? Some believe these boxes were designed not for animals, but for something much larger. Perhaps giants from another age. Others propose that these bunts of advanced technology in Egypt, the Egyptians possessed knowledge we can't even comprehend.